Today we are taking a trip down memory lane, so let's get into it. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing very well. So I've been quite nostalgic recently. There's been so many things on my mind and I thought to myself, let's talk about some palettes that I absolutely loved that I no longer own and I really wish I had them back. So these are 5 palettes that I kind of loved so much when I was kind of starting up on my makeup journey, and things that are not as new but have been in the past like 10 years for example. So please let me know in the comments what palettes like that are part of your nostalgia, or if you had any of these palettes, please let me know because I just want them back. But I know we're not going to get them back, it's fine. So the first palette is the first ever eyeshadow palette that I ever owned, and it is the Bon Bon palette by Too Faced. This palette brings back so many memories. So like I mentioned, it was the first palette that I ever owned. When I first started getting into makeup, I for some reason was drawn towards Too Faced. I think it was because of their kind of themes when it came to like sweets and chocolate and all this stuff, which I'm a big fan of. And the Bon Bon palette was one that just kind of spoke out to me the most. The shades, for example, and the fact that the palette itself had like love hearts in them, which I thought was like super cute. So I saved up a bit of money and I asked my sister to kind of get it for me, because this was at a time when I never used to go like into central London that much. So she picked it up for me and I remember getting it and just kind of playing around with it. But I had it for such a long time because of that nostalgia and that kind of like, this is the first palette that I ever owned. I did unfortunately get rid of it just because it was just obviously getting quite old. And kind of on the level of that, I also really love the was it the Babido Peach palette? One of my friends actually gave that to me because she said that I think she got it as a gift, didn't really like the shades, and so she sent it to me and I absolutely fell in love with it. So that whole kind of range of like Too Faced I absolutely love, because it was when I was obviously earning like a bit of money where I was just kind of like enjoying makeup so much, and I thought to myself, Too Faced is like proper high end. I'm treating myself. When Too Faced were a little bit high end, but they weren't in the sense of like Patrick Tar level or kind of, Natasha Denona type of level. But I used to think their quality was so good and I really enjoyed their palettes. So let me know if you've ever had a Too Faced palette. The next palette brings me so much joy to kind of think about, but it's the Doll Beauty Sweet Treats palette. So I had this palette for ages. I never got it when it first came out because it was a palette where I was kind of umming and ahhing about, but I think I got it on a sale because, of course, I do. I always get things on like massive sales. Like sometimes you can save a bit of money. That's the way to go. But this palette I had for such a long time. I love the steel tin of it. I love that it came with 2 loose pigments, and just the colour story itself I absolutely loved. It had the most beautiful oranges and kind of yellows and reds and stuff, which was resonated with me so much at the time. Like I love red eyeshadow palettes and eyeshadows in general. Like you see a lot of the older looks that I did, I always incorporate the reds into them because red is like my favorite color. So when it came to eyeshadow, that was one that I kind of steered towards the most. But now Doll Beauty are kind of like, they're kind of rebranding at the moment, which I think is quite interesting. I haven't purchased anything from them in quite a while. I hopefully will soon, maybe in their new stuff that comes out. If it looks right up my street, I might pick it up. But that Sweet Treats palette was something that had me for such a long time. So let me know if, and they also had these massive palettes as well, where they had the massive highlighters on the side. They kind of remind me of the old P. Louise palette. The next palette that I miss the most is the first ever Soph Does Life and Makeup Revolution. So at the time she was, I think, Soph Does Nails, and she was the first YouTuber that I ever watched when I started getting into makeup. I think I was at home one day and I was really bored and I thought to myself, let's look at makeup. And I thought to myself, this is something that I want to try and get into because, growing up, I never wore like much makeup. I was kind of dabbing here and there. But when I thought to myself, I want to start wearing makeup properly because I'm like, I don't know what, 18, 19, and I'm kind of needing to kind of self-care a lot more, her makeup channel was the first channel that kind of spoke out to me. And so I've grown up watching her a lot. And now that she has like, you know, had so many collaborations and all this and that, the first palette that she ever released, I absolutely loved it. I don't know if there was a name for it, but if there is, obviously the picture's going to be here, but I'm pretty sure you can get it at the beauty outlet. I'm going to have to double check. I don't know if it's her second palette that you can get at the beauty outlet. If you've never seen the beauty outlet, it's a store that has a lot of old makeup. It's not old, it's kind of like they sell a lot of W7 and Technic and things like that, but they have so much Makeup Revolution because Revolution do come out with a lot of makeup, but they have a lot of older makeup that hasn't been opened or used. I just think it's slightly out of date, if that makes any sense. But they sell it at such an affordable price. Like I think her last palette, you could probably get it for like £6, but I don't think they have the first one. But that palette I absolutely love. The shades in there were so great. I love supporting her, and I think she did come out with a second collection with them, which I did pick up a couple of things because some of the stuff I absolutely loved. Her highlighter was amazing. And her lip kits were really nice as well, but it was that first palette that spoke to me the most. The next palette that I absolutely loved is the Urban Decay Game of Thrones palette. So I, like many people, were in that Game of Thrones chokehold when it came out. I remember tuning in every Sunday at 10 o'clock on Sky One Plus, because at 9 o'clock my mum would watch her Pakistani Indian show, so I never got a chance to watch it. But at 10 o'clock, it was time to watch Game of Thrones. And when Urban Decay came out with their collection, I was very here and there about it because I was like, at the time, I couldn't really afford Urban Decay because the job I had at the time was pretty pants, so I wasn't making a lot of money. But when I saw that I could get the Urban Decay one, like I was like, yes, I need to get this palette. And it was amazing. It had that little throne that you could pull out, like a 3D iron throne, which I absolutely love. The only reason that I got rid of it is because it got mold on it, which was absolutely disgusting. I remember doing a declutter and saying, I'm not going to get rid of this palette because I really loved it. The shades were great, the pigment were great. I think a lot of people probably didn't have the same experience as I did. Like, I really enjoyed that palette, and so many people I saw online did not like it. But as soon as I saw that bit of mold, I was like, I'm sorry, I have to get rid of the whole palette because I'm not going to keep like a palette that has got mold on it, obviously. And so that was a product that I absolutely love because everything kind of worked together. Like the shades worked really well together. Well, for me they did. And the pigments I thought were pretty good. Like Urban Decay haven't really done a good collaboration in a while. Like I quite like their Prince palette, which I still own because I think that palette, I don't really want to get rid of it because it's kind of quite personal to me. But if it grows mold on there, okay, I might depot it. But the actual like kind of casing itself, I really like. But I really don't think they've done a collaboration in a while. I always thought that their collabs probably weren't the best when it came to like all the pigmentations and everything that they kind of wanted to have in collections. But that Game of Thrones palette, I absolutely loved. And then the last palette that I want to talk about is by BH Cosmetics. So this was their baked eyeshadow palettes, and these were just some of the most amazing palettes I have ever used. It was quite weird. I was on my TikTok the other day, and there's this brand that sell like really old Makeup Revolution products in like mystery boxes and stuff, and they were showing a BH Cosmetics palette, and I was like, oh my god, I used to love those palettes so much. So the two palettes that I used the most, the Solar Flare eyeshadow palette, which had like these beautiful yellow, orange, red shades, so kind of going back to some of the older palettes that I used to love. The shades kind of resonate with each other. And then the other palette was the Aurora palette. So that one was a very colourful palette. And I really think that BH Cosmetics had some amazing eyeshadow palettes. Like their baked ones were some of my favourite. I think they worked so well when you think about overly pigmented and just shadows that really kind of stand out. Those palettes were amazing. You can get the Perfect on Makeup Revolution's website now, but because those palettes are so old, I don't think they really exist on there. I do have some of their older palettes, like the H Cosmetics ones, the kind of cone ones, like the red one and the green one, which I absolutely love. I really don't ever want to get rid of those palettes because they're just so nice. I know we shouldn't use them because they are quite old, but when it comes to those fake eyeshadow palettes, they were insane. And I think I only ever got rid of them because they always came broken. Like, I think I got them from Beauty Bay at the time. They would most of the time arrive broken, and I would just be like, okay, I just have to keep them because if I send them back, what are the chances that they'll come back broken again? But those palettes were just absolutely outstanding. I used to use them on my channel all the time. Like, if you've watched any of my videos from like back in the day, I would use them a lot. So those are palettes that are part of my nostalgia that I absolutely love. I think I will do a video like this in the future when I kind of talk about maybe some other products that I really miss using. So like I mentioned in the beginning, please let me know if there's any palettes that you have that I like, that you used to have that are like part of your nostalgia, because I love talking about nostalgia. And thank you so much for watching. And if you have enjoyed this type of video, please don't forget to like and subscribe because I film and upload every time I get a chance to. Don't forget to follow me on any of my social medias because I'm always active on there, and I appreciate you sitting down, listening to me ramble on. I'll see you soon. Bye.